wanna feel. Maybe wait. Should we become like singers? Like, should we come out with a song?
All right.
I wanna feel.
Wait, let's
Wanna
find
make.
think of a song that we used to listen to in the car together, and we'll sing it right now.
Okay. There's like a lot of songs.
I know, a lot of. I corrupted her, guys. I listened to all
Lady Gaga.
the good rap of my day.
Yeah. Okay.
Sugar, sugar, how you get so.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
She got me lifted, shifted higher than the ceiling. And ooh-wee, it's the ultimate.
This is like a gripping moment. And ooh-wee, it's the ultimate feeling. She got me shifted, feeling so gifted. Sugar, how you get so fly.
Oh, I have my raspy.
Sugar. I'll harmonize, you melodize. Sugar, how you... Wait, no, you go and then I go. All right, ready? So you do like the low, like the harmony, and then... All right, and then I'll go high. Ready?
Sugar,
how you get so fly. You're not doing it. Go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Sugar,
how you get so fly. Sugar, how you get.
Okay, I'm crying, guys. Sugar, how you get so fly. Sugar, how you get so fly.
Welcome to our singing era.
Buy my digital download on how to
It's a singing 101 course.
Welcome back to the Sisterish Show. I still have my Rita raspy voice.
Why Rita?
I don't know. She sounds like she has a raspy smoking voice. And Rita, like she's like, hey, kids, sit on the couch. I don't know.
So we are introducing a new segment to our podcast. And
I'm so excited about this.
It is called the Sisterish Shit of the Week.
Sisterish Shit of the Week. Maybe we'll have a melody for it eventually.
So this segment is going to be kind of like a little catch up in the beginning of our episodes, and we're going to be including our current favorites and obsessions, whether it is TV or movie related or food or a wellness product or a trend or something we've been just taken in from the culture, whatever it may be. The toilet's doing something that I need to fix. So give me a
hold, please. If you guys are wondering why we switched sides, it's because Athina, she actually took my good side, which is this side. And so we watched the first episode back, and then we realized that we hated how we looked. So now these are our positions. So I was giving her the right side because it's supposedly, I thought it was her good side, but it wasn't anyway. Athina's a plumber right now. Jeez. What did you just do? Wait, what just happened?
There's toilet water on my hands now. Do you like that? Should we go from the Sisterish Show to an ASMR channel? I feel like I could be really good at it. I'm crying.
Now for my sister's shit, I have to touch on Love is Blind. I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room, which is Megan Fox, or the lack thereof, with Chelsea. The way she went hard on him.
The whining for me is really what does it. I genuinely, every time the Love is Blind comes up on the TV and it is a Chelsea and Jimmy scene, I take the remote and turn the volume down because I need to fully prepare my ears for what they're about to go through.
Wait, did you call him Jeremy or Jason?
Jimmy.
I thought his name was Jeremy.
No, that's the other guy.
Okay, I barely remember my kids' names, so just don't mind that.
So it's definitely a whining situation.
And it's not like I get the whole like nagging your husband and boyfriend. Like, you know, you need to nag sometimes, but it's constant nagging.
It is constant.
It's like whiny pants.
It is. It is a lot. And I don't know. The franchise as a whole from like the first season is completely different. Yeah, so it's like we're here for the drama with the seasons now. Like it's not even about finding your soulmate.
I like kind of like I shot fire. Wait, it's like I'm drunk and I'm not.
You are.
I'm just happy. This edit of this season, they are you can do anything with an edit
Yeah.
No different to why the Kardashians took over the production.
Yeah.
Is you want to be involved. Like, you can spin me to be a villain on this podcast and take three words I said. So I also want to say that I do think that they're editing Chelsea to be whiny.
I think she's just whiny.
Really?
Her voice is whiny.
Got it. Okay.
I don't know.
The whole point of the show is to see if love is blind.
Which I don't think it is.
And really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think love is blind at all.
You have to have a sexual attraction, a physical
I think love
attraction.
is whatever the opposite of love is 2020, baby. Love is full vision. Love is not blind. And
So then how do you explain the couples that have made it?
I think that they're attracted to each other. I don't think you can be in love with someone you're not attracted to.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I think it's good in the terms of, like, you might date people that you, in, like, the normal world would not have approached or, like, been approached by. So you might be, like, forming relationships with people that you conventionally wouldn't have been attracted to. But I think that when you see that person and, like, you form a relationship in, like, the physical world, like, being able to see them, I think if you aren't attracted, like, I mean, I don't
So do you think, okay, so what about, like, arranged marriages back in the day? No. Okay. They had a lot of kids too back then.
They did.
So
They did have
sex can be blind, I think.
Yeah. I think, of course, it can be, like, a transactional type thing.
Right.
But I
love
think
cannot be.
no.
Oh, all right.
That's my hot take. What I've been watching, which is funny that I have a watch too, is I don't know if you have seen this. I don't think you have because I think you would have talked about it. The Risa Tisa TikTok series.
No.
Who the F Did I Marry?
Oh no, I saw someone share about it, but I didn't like look into it.
So
it's this. Tell me about this.
It's this woman, and she basically made a 52, I believe, part TikTok series. Each video is like, I believe each video is like 8 to 10 minutes. I put that ish on 2 times speed. Like, I put it on 2 times, and like my brain is like, I can understand it. And she basically has a 50 whatever part series of her telling the story of who the F did she marry. And
wait, so is he like a serial killer or like?
Not a serial killer, but he's a narcissist, a pathological liar, lied basically about every single thing.
Beautiful.
So it is a very interesting, she's an amazing storyteller. So I think that's really what blew her up.
She needs a podcast.
She really, people were even commenting in her comments, like, you need to, what's the word? Like, patent like your story, because people are going to take it and try to make like a series about it because it's so good. But
Wow.
She is an amazing storyteller. I mean, you can get like the condensed version obviously, but I like wanted all the details, so I listened to the whole
in
thing.
true Athena fashion.
Yes, and it's so good.
All right, so my next thing that obviously like I feel like it's not just of the week, it's like of my life is eye gels.
Yes.
So there's these Amazon like marine collagen eye gels. We can put a link in the description. And they're like the TikTok ones that have like the sparklies on it. So I feel like I'm like a unicorn or like a mermaid. Mm-hmm. But they have like, they changed my life.
Okay.
And I didn't have them to sleep here. And like I see the bags under my eyes.
So
and
tell me like the roots. So what is it? It's a morning, it's a wake up thing.
I literally would do it twice a day.
Okay.
That's extra. But basically, great price point. It's like $20, I think, for 12. Wait, I guess that's not that great. I don't really care. All I know is that, like, if I want to do a whole podcast episode with it on. It just feels so good. So basically, I wake up.
Do you freeze them or, like, put them in the fridge?
I've had ones that I'm a product whore, and, like, I've gone as expensive as you can go and then, like, as cheap as you can go. So I think the price point's great and they're clean, good ingredients. But I've done the ones that you could put in the freezer and that like you can, or the fridge, and you can reuse them.
Oh.
They have those, but these are not like that. So I wake up, have my salt water in the morning, have my coffee, have like my morning routine, whatever. And it's like when you wash your face, you don't want to put a serum on because they're going to like slide all over like a pimple patch. So I'll wash my face fresh, tone it, And then you're supposed to just leave them on for 20 minutes. But like, you know,
You leave them on for hours.
In my elderly age of like young, fresh 36, I've noticed that if I just keep them on.
Yeah.
If I'm not like recording or I don't have like a Zoom meeting or a client, I'll just put those bitches on and like literally just keep them on until they like, they feel good because they're cold.
Yeah.
But they like kind of dry. When they're dry, then I take them off. Like I'm
Okay.
talking like 3 hours later and you're just glowing. Like your
I
under
need
eye.
that
Like I know
because-
you have daddy's eyes.
Yes, because I hate my under
Like
eyes.
when I drove here on Saturday morning, I wore them the whole drive from the Keys to here.
Okay, I need to like get on that.
Yeah.
Because
You're
that sounds
missing out.
heavenly.
And it's like, I feel like every woman, no matter your age, 20 or 36 or 50, like if you're not using these eye gels, you are literally like working too hard.
I need that. You know, it's so funny. My next one
Don't
is
tell me-
also face related.
We are
so
connected.
my next one, which is something that we're kind of talking about, but I just got into like facial massaging.
Okay.
So there's this girl on YouTube, her face yoga expert is like her channel, and she does like facial did I say massaging? Facial exercises.
She called it yoga, guys.
Yes. So it's literally, and it's so true because we work like all the muscles in our bodies, and then you don't like, you have muscles in your face. Your face is made of muscles. So this woman just posts like all these videos about strengthening like your jowls, your
Turkey neck.
cheekbones, your neck, like all the different parts of your face. And
I follow an account like this on Instagram.
and they're not super long videos, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever. And I'll do it while I'm habit stacking, doing something else. And it's just like really good. And I don't know, I just started doing it this week.
What are you doing? Like
She has like a routine. So she'll be like, all right, like look up and like, obviously if you're watching us, you'll see, and like touch like your bottom teeth to like your top. And you feel this part of your neck doing it. She'll have other ones where like you turn your neck to the side, you look that way, and like you like move like your tongue in a position, but it's very...
I've seen a lot where it's like also in your scalp. Like,
Yes.
Like people have hooded eyes and they do these, like if you guys are watching us, like I'm rubbing my temples and my scalp.
Yes.
You have to loosen up your entire scalp like this. And
Yes.
it like affects how your face looks.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
we live in a state of we're always so
Clenching.
tense.
Clenching.
So it's really nice to like do an exercise and even for 5 or 10 minutes and feel just like released.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been loving this week, and pretty cool that we like are insane.
My red light book light is just like, it changed the game, because if you think about, if you have a book light that's like a harsh
Like
white,
blue or white,
yeah, you want to have like a red vibe or an amber vibe. And so yeah, $10.
Well,
on Amazon.
husband Huberman Lab did a whole thing about
Yeah.
what like the proper nighttime routine, and one of those things is the light before bed. So
Yeah.
even like TV, phone,
Yeah.
like that should all be going off after like 8 or 9, and like you should only be having, people actually go as far as like all the lights in their bedroom are like red or orange lights.
Yeah.
And
I want, that's like goals for
Yeah.
me. Like I want like there to be like a timer in my house where
Yes.
all of the lights
just turn like red,
turn amber.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so good, and it gets your body in ready to like go to bed and not have like crashing blue and white lights in your eyes. So
It's so
really good.
bad for you.
So today we are going to be diving deep into how the F, not who the F did I marry, but how the F are we not Puffy?
Yeah.
Because me and Jackie literally, we send each other photos and videos all day of what we used to look like. And
and we're not talking about like 3 years ago. We're talking about like from 6 months ago.
like 6 months, a year, and it is wild. And this is not an episode about weight loss
No.
or, you know, diet plans and things like that, but it's an episode about the other factors that are included in a healthy lifestyle and what we did that I feel like, a lot of people are talking about it now, but I feel like sometimes when you feel super lost and confused and you feel like you've tried diets and you've tried workout plans, like what am I doing wrong? And I feel like I got very frustrated with myself because I couldn't figure out what I needed to change, and I feel like I was doing what I'm told to do,
Yeah.
and it's not working. So what do I do?
And there's so much conflicting information out there.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the biggest things we want to touch on. Like, we are not your doctor or
No.
your daddy. So, like, do your own research. We want to empower you to do this.
Yeah.
And one size fits all anything is not, it will not work.
Yeah.
So there's going to be people that have something to say, oh, well, you know, fasting doesn't work for me or weight training doesn't work for me. You have to be so in tune to yourself.
Yeah.
To your cycles, which we're going to talk about. And, you know, for me, the big two things that have completely changed my life, having 4 children, 3 C-sections, 1 natural birth, being 36 years old, I look at pictures of myself literally 26, 10 years ago, and I'm like, I have less wrinkles now.
Yeah, you absolutely do.
My face looks completely different. And the glow up is real. And the 2 things that I attribute this to, especially in the last year, is biohacking your hormones and my nervous system.
Yeah.
These are 2 things that I think need to be touched on big time. I know you're going to go into inflammation.
Yeah.
That's a hot word for sure.
We live in a world where everything is so instant and it's so, you know, let me get on something because I'm sick of feeling this way. Let me go on Ozempic. Let me take, you know, a magic pill or a supplement. And I'm so big on, if my opinion is ever asked, like, those are not things that are going to build you a sustainable, healthy, long-lasting life. And I want to touch on this one thing too before we start. One book that really helped me was The Art of Longevity by Dr. Peter Attia. I don't know if that's even how you say his name, but I've listened to like multiple podcast episodes with him, and this book is literally life-changing because you realize that it's not just about working out 6 days a week and eating lettuce, but there's so much more to long-lasting health. And I think that
longevity is what we want.
And you want to be able to actually enjoy your life and not have your life revolving around a pill that you need to take to, you know, not eat or affect you in a way that at the end of the day, like, you don't want to be on something for 47 years of your life. So I think it's really important that we understand that as a basis. Also, a lot of the topics that we're going to be touching on today, again, like we already stated, we're not doctors, we're not medical professionals. We're saying what's worked for us and what we've learned in our experiences.
Yeah.
And also a lot of these topics can be delved into so much more. Like, we're just going to be literally touching the tip of the iceberg because there's so much that goes into each of these things that we're going to be touching on. And like, we're not a science podcast, so we're not going to be like sitting here like with like a medical board in like med school, but like just touching on and talking about how each of these things impacted our lives. And hopefully you guys as listeners can try to like adapt some of these things and use them for yourself so that you can feel your best and like not be puffy and not look at pictures of your face and be like, ew, I hate that. So I think that's what's really important.
I'll say I want to tickle your brain, get you thinking for yourself and just being aware. And so let's get into it.
So firstly, we want to talk about hormone support. That was one super big thing. We both kind of have a little bit, not different perspectives, but you did a lot of that blood work and the biohacking hormones. For me, it looks different for both of us. I went like super deep into like cycle tracking.
For me, especially, and again, every person is so different. And I think that's what makes it beautiful and to be able to have this conversation as sisters and with our audience. So I had my tubes taken out after our 4th child. I don't recommend that because it put me into a perimenopausal state. Our bodies are resilient and we are able to heal.
How old were you when?
I was only 30.
Wow.
So I was 30 years old and, you know, look, I was bullied into having my tubes out. They're like, if you get pregnant again because you've had 3 C-sections, there's so much scar tissue, whatever. I never would recommend it. My menstrual cycles are insane because I don't have tubes. And at that time, I had all these other autoimmune responses that happen. Like, we're meant to have tubes.
Yeah.
Like, you're supposed to have your organs, and when people remove them, like, it's not a good thing. And I know that sounds like super controversial, but I'm speaking on my own behalf about that. So I had my tubes taken out and I'm 30 years old and I'm like 200 something pounds, which is obviously very unhealthy. And I literally couldn't lose weight. And I had hot flashes and I had rashes and I didn't want to have sex with my husband. And obviously this was 6 years ago. And the thing that's really interesting, I think, and it needs to be touched on is 6 years ago, I healed myself of this like perimenopausal state I was in naturally with nutrition, eating at the right times and all that kind of stuff, essential oils, oh my goodness. But then when you don't take care of yourself and check in with your hormones, it's something you have to watch. We are so complex as women. Just last year, even though I knew how to heal myself, I've done it before, I noticed that I was holding a lot of weight and I'm like, oh shit, I know my hormones are probably off again. And I try to do the right thing and all that. And so I partnered with this company. They're called Joy Wellness, and I really, really can get down with their message and mission. The CEOs are a couple. They have one for men as well. And basically it's so cool. What they do is they will literally come to you and or you go get your blood work. And I recommend going quarterly. So being 36, not having tubes, especially when you're in your 30s for sure, like you need to get your blood work. And I'm not talking about the blood work that you get when you go to your like regular doctor. They're not running the tests and looking for the things that you should be paying attention to. And having that, you know, cancer doesn't just like show up on your lap. Like to be preventative, as someone that I avoid the doctors, my family, my children, like we don't go. Typically, I highly recommend getting labs. Labs are so important to check in with like where your biomarkers are at. So I had a test done. This was months ago. And I had like 0 tests in my body. Testosterone was super low, which made perfect sense because I had no libido, which is not like me. I had no energy. I'm working out, like you were saying, like crazy. I'm not getting the results I want. And then like other things were off. And, you know, through supplements, and sometimes it's, you know, bioidentical hormones, which could be a hot word, but especially if you are, you know, in your 30s, if you've taken an organ out, you might need to use bioidentical hormones. I know like the FDA is really cracking down on a lot of this stuff.
In a bad way?
Oh yeah, they're cracking down because look, the healthcare system is a business, and if the hospitals are empty, they're not making their money. And, you know, this isn't a conspiracy podcast today, but yeah, they're cracking down even on the vitamin industry. They're making it, they want to make it harder for us to heal ourselves. And the other thing I want to touch on is when you go to a normal doctor's visit and they run like labs on your thyroid, or they're not even looking for the full panel of the TSH, like all these things, like they'll only look at 2 of them, and you're like, but I don't feel good. Yeah. And so you have to advocate. You have to, I don't want to be average. Yeah. I want to be optimal. So fuck normal. And yeah. So anyway, this company, Joy Wellness, they do smart supplements. And I'm just like, yes, baby. We know what we need to take. Like, okay, I should have a bee and I should have a fish oil. But being able to get supplements sent to my door that are literally for what my labs were. Because again, we're so complex. It's amazing. Like every 3 months, my supplements change because you don't need the same. Right. So that was something. And like my husband did, their company Blokes. And we have never, I can honestly tell you, 36 years old, I feel like I'm 22 years old. I've never felt better, more clear. My hormones are 100% regulated. And the peace I have too, just knowing that like every 3 months, I'm getting blood work and labs done. I have peace of mind, and there's no price. You know, they have different packages, but I highly recommend checking in with your biomarkers and knowing where you're at has changed the game for me as I'm aging. It's why the Kardashians look the way they do. It's why Kris Jenner looks the way she does. Like, it's why, not Chloe, who just had a baby. She's like old. Courtney. Sorry, guys. Courtney. You know, she just had a baby, bro. Yeah. And she's like pushing like what, 47? Yeah. Like she knows that body, sis. Like she knows what she's doing. And I know she's definitely getting her labs done. So that's just one that I definitely wanted to touch on. Check in with your hormones, see where you're at, which I'm really intrigued by. And I started implementing this with my clients and then myself, is we can't train like men, and we can't eat like them either. And so tell me more about this cycle syncing.
So I started, getting introduced to cycle syncing, I would say about like a year ago, probably. And I think that there's obviously a lot of people take it in different ways. For me, it was something that made me feel relieved to know that, okay, if I'm feeling a certain way, there's an actual explanation to it. So instead of blaming myself or making myself feel like shit because I couldn't get through the workout, or I'm sitting there trying to PR and I'm doing my warm up and I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah,
like,
that's a mind F for sure.
And it's like you get super hard on yourself. Already as women, we have so many pressures and like stresses to look a certain way all the time. And I think that for me, it gave me clarity on, okay, this week I'm in my luteal phase. There's no point in me trying to even PR in my lift because I'm not going to. I'm not going to. And knowing that there's an explanation for it and that it's okay gave me so much clarity and peace because I didn't have to blame myself or think there was something wrong with me or I was doing something incorrect to not get to my goal or the place I wanted to be. So for me, I use an app. Again, literally none of, like, all this is real. Like, I literally have it on my phone. I use an app, 28, and it's a cycle tracker, but it's not like Flow where, like, Flow or like any of those. But 28 is specifically for...
I'm like ants in my pants on this episode. Sorry. I can't.
It's okay.
Trying to like get comfortable.
28 is an app specifically for learning where you are in your cycle so that you're able to honor those different phases and know what you are. So it gives you information about your nutrition. It gives you information based on what type of exercises you should be doing as far as intensity goes.
That's really cool.
The reason why that was super helpful is because I was able, because at the end of the day, look, facts are everyone should be weightlifting in one regards or another. Resistance training is super important, especially as women and especially as you get older. It gets more important. It builds resilience in your body, your bones, your joints. I don't want to be the 65-year-old that's like bending down and can't get up. So it's super important. And like your bone density shrinks, or I don't know if that's the right word, but it shrinks as you get older. So it's important. But I was feeling very defeated, and learning the cycle syncing was so helpful because I knew, okay, when I'm in my luteal phase, I'm not gonna try heavy rep or heavy intensity lifting in a way that I'm able to 2 weeks later. Sitting, like, literally being able to do a run and my sprints and my walks and then lifting and then I was doing Pure Barre at the time, like doing all these different things, and like I feel great, and then like 2 weeks later I'm like, I don't even want to go on a walk. So it was very, very, very helpful for me to be in tune and know when I'm in each different phase and what that means. Also, the way you look, yes, it's literally scientifically proven that you get puffier and more inflamed right before your period's gonna come, and that you literally hate the way you look. And if you took photos,
you hate your husband, your life, how you look. Like, I should probably change careers.
So it's all very in tune, and I think learning about that was one of the best things I ever did because I was able to just be so in tune and not blame myself for feeling certain ways. When I got my blood work done, I didn't do it through Joy, but through my regular doctor because I was like, I'd rather just get it done and look at it myself. They didn't even, I had to ask the doctor afterwards, can I get, like, the normal blood work they do only tests you for, I think, test and estrogen, and I was like, I want to get everything tested. Like, I want to get my progesterone tested, my cortisol tested, my TSH tested. She was like, oh, we normally don't do it for like the base lab work. I'm like, okay, how do I get it? She's like, as a doctor, if I feel like you need it, then I'll request it, but like normally I don't order it unless there's a reason. And I'm like, so you're telling me I could have
And that's so important to know.
3 entire levels completely off and we would have no idea.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but that's nuts.
I know, but it is. And so that to me was really frustrating. So cycle syncing really did change my life. I don't take it to the point, like I do still weight train multiple times a week throughout the whole month, but it's more about an awareness of knowing how to train, the intensity in which I'm going to train. For me right now, I do a combination of walking, Pilates, and weight training, and it's been chef's kiss, magical. Even in the 8 weeks or 10 weeks that we've been here, I have noticed a huge just change in like my composition. Like I just feel a lot more tight.
She's snatched.
I feel snatched. Like I feel really good. I don't feel puffy. I don't feel like my walks have been super helpful with that.
And I love walking. Walking is like my fave of all time. It's so good for your mental health.
Yeah.
And I always say this, it's the most underrated physical exercise that every single person, young and old, needs to be doing every day.
Yeah.
Is walking.
Absolutely. I know my period's coming that week and I don't feel good. I would rather tell myself, okay, Athena, don't put this pressure on yourself to go to the gym and do a 1.5 hour workout. Go to the gym, do a 20-minute walk and do Pilates, but do it like 4 days this week. Instead of just being like, F this, I'm not working out at all. So it's about treating your body with kindness. Obviously, you do need to push yourself, but knowing when to push yourself and when to kind of like hold back a little bit, I think is a much healthier approach to working out in general. At least for me, that's what's worked.
I think ultimately what it comes down to is like, these bitches need to be more self-aware. Like we need to be self-aware. And when you're self-aware with an Oura ring or you're cycle syncing and all that, it's like knowing you're not going to schedule certain things for certain times of the month or, you know, and it makes perfect sense. Our bodies, are so complex.
And I was just joking about this. Like, I think a woman that knows where she is in like the month and is aware of like what that means for her, we were joking about it before, like it's so much more powerful. And people always joke like women are always so emotional and like if you catch them on the wrong day, but like no, I don't think so, because I think that we need to change that, because I feel so much more powerful and calm and just at peace with going out in my day and approaching people and having conversations, knowing like, okay, Athena, today like you're in this part, so like you're super confident today, and like people are gonna feed off of that and know that.
Absolutely.
Versus like I'm not gonna go out and try to be this like boss bitch AF girl when like I feel like garbage.
No, you can't.
And people receive that. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think like it's a common thing. Oh, like men are always in spirals, and that's what I was saying. Like I feel like being in tune has helped me just feel so much more confident, because there's an actual explanation for why I'm feeling a certain way, and I can adapt my food, my diet.
Yeah, all your habits.
Like around your period, you should be eating like warm foods and just like little things like that have just helped me overall feel a lot better in my entire fitness journey. And I really think have transformed. It's one of the reasons that I feel so good as compared to a year ago when I had no idea. I just knew, oh, my period's coming. Like, I don't feel good. Let me just.
Yeah. And it also mind F's you, because when you're not aware of this, you start to like, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I bipolar? Like, what is happening? But now it's like, I know I'm spiraling 5 days before by the way, I'm spiraling. I'm in this luteal phase, but I'll text her and she's like, oh, your period's coming. And you give yourself grace. Yeah, you have to give yourself grace, and it's so important. And so like I 100% can get down with that message, and I approve it. So my nervous system regulation has been something that like I love to talk about. And again, I'm not your doctor, but our nervous system is essentially our body's wiring system.
Yep.
And it's so important. And I feel like, and I've felt like in the past, so many, especially moms and a lot of adults and men and women and all of us, especially after 2020, we're literally walking
stress balls,
like time bombs. Like
Yeah.
if someone is cutting you off and you lose your shit, your nervous system is probably super dysregulated. And the coolest thing about our bodies is that we can heal. And the things that healed my nervous system are free as fuck. All y'all that are triggered every 5 seconds, you need to like, let's
take a chill pill.
Let's regulate
or
that
go on an
nervous
acupuncture
system.
mat.
Yeah.
Or tap.
Take a deep breath, sweet cheeks.
It's retraining your body and your mind and how to respond to stressful
situations, which are going to keep coming.
Right.
They're not going away.
It's not just about being in a Zen state 24/7.
Exactly.
It's about being able to respond in a way that you're not in a constant state of panic and fight or flight 24/7, which is how you've told me multiple times is how you felt for like 3.5 years straight. So it's crazy that we're now able to be in a place where we can retrain our minds and our bodies to like calm the F down.
So the healing and the regulating of your nervous system essentially is we have 2 nervous systems, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. The parasympathetic nervous system is basically like when you just got over your period and you feel like your best and you're walking around and you're confident and the sun is shining and your kid didn't throw up on your shirt and your husband, like it's your happy,
the stars are aligned.
Yeah, that's like the one you want to switch on and off. And if you think about your nervous system as a switch, and if you are aware that you have these 2 sides of this nervous system situation, the sympathetic one is the bitch. She's the one that literally all of us, it got activated in 2020. 4 years later, I think people are still walking around in fight or flight, and you need to go over and turn that light switch down. And the coolest thing is, like you were saying, because it's neurons and wires, we literally can retrain ourselves to, okay, this stressful event happens, and it's literally just, no joke, guys, deep breaths.
Yeah.
A lot of us are walking around and we're not like taking deep breaths. Moms especially. If I find that I'm losing my shit on my kids, I need to give myself a time out.
Yeah.
And our ability to repair our nervous system is essentially just switching that light switch off.
Yeah.
So from the parasympathetic, that's the good one we want on, and turning off the sympathetic nervous system.
Yeah.
And what activates the sympathetic nervous system is that fight or flight response. It's high cortisol levels. Again, back to hormones. It's not allowing your body to chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, take a deep breath, lay on the acupressure mat, take, again, back to a walk outside.
There's so many free and easily accessible things that you can be doing. I recently, something I want to start getting into more is actual like breathwork sessions. I've done like a couple before, and you know what? It's really hard for me to focus on them. And like Joey will laugh if he was listening, because I'm sitting here trying to do one and I can't focus. And it's a problem. It's literally 8 minutes, and I'm like looking around, like wait, I want to
at its finest.
like scroll or like go look outside and people watch.
Breath work is a game changer.
Yeah, a couple other things that I've seen people do. I don't know if you've done them, but I've tried it a few times, like the tapping.
Yeah, I have really close friends that got certified in the tapping.
That really,
yeah,
that
Hallie,
is so cool.
That was on the Zoom call. I think you were on with the glasses. She's like.
That is
she's like
so
whatever
cool.
The certification
and
is.
the ear pulling thing, have you seen that too?
Yeah, but she does that. It's like
and it like
you,
flicks your body on. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so. I didn't even know you could get certified in that.
Oh
That's
yeah, she's got like a
super
whole
cool.
badass like certification.
Her kids are gonna be like chill AF. Like,
she I feel like she was already super chill, but it's really cool that she's like
That
can,
is
like
super
equip
cool.
us and teach us how to do all that. So your nervous system alarm bell, just like when you have a physical reaction to something, sometimes it manifests as like a rash. It's when you find yourself being triggered, you need to regulate your nervous system. And a lot of these trolls on the internet, I'm like, oh boo, you need to like do some tapping or like take a deep breath. And
like, do you want me to send you a link to the guided meditation I just did this morning? Because
like,
I think you might need it.
Literally 100%. Like your child's meltdown that like triggered you today, or maybe from, like I said, 2020, and you never like turned off your sympathetic nervous system. And believe it or not, even like something as like cold plunges, which I know like obviously if the internet
Heat
tells
and cold
you
exposure,
that has been huge for me. And there's always, again, conflicting information. People that say, like me being very self-aware, I will never cold plunge during my cycle or right before it. But the first 2 weeks after I have my cycle, it's like has changed my life.
Have you tried doing it during and you just didn't like?
Yeah. Basically, in essence, people are like, how the F does submerging yourself in this ice cold water, which is stressful as fuck, make you feel better and calm your nervous system? And what it is that control.
Right.
And it's letting go of control. And then as you're in that water, oh shit, I'm freezing. This is terrible. I want to die. Like, it's so cold. If you don't slow the fuck down and like focus on your breath work, bro, you can't do it. Yeah. ASMR. Take a deep breath. No, literally.
Yeah.
And so the cold plunge for me puts me into this meditative state that if I play a certain song.
Mm-hmm. What song?
NF Hope.
Okay.
And to this day, this is the cool part, you can retrain your brain and create new neural pathways. This is the science behind it. So like Pavlov's dog, if you guys know that from science, do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know that.
You ring the dinner bell and the dogs like just instinctually know that it's time to eat, and they'll like, that's how you can train animals.
WTF.
Yeah.
Didn't learn that in school.
Well, that's because you went to private school and I went to public. No, I'm kidding.
Did they teach you that in school?
Yeah.
No.
All right, whatever. It's probably like a heathen thing that I learned. But anyway, the point is that now if I'm like in traffic or I'm feeling stressed out, I will put on that Hope song.
Yeah.
And it brings me to the cold plunge and I'm instantly calm and feel connected
that
and
is
in control.
Absolutely bonkers.
And so when you just like tearing down your muscles to build them, when you can have control over your breath work and you're in that cold plunge and in that cold therapy, it's literally, there's nothing like it for me. It works for me. I don't give a shit what blogger says on the internet. Like, they could be like, it's so bad for you. It's bad for you if you are literally like in fight or flight, your cortisol levels, like you should not do cold exposure.
Right. I want to say this because that's how I feel about a lot of people talking about like doing high intensity workouts, doing like
running,
HIIT classes and running. And this is the thing, like, these things are good for you, but it's all about where you're at. So like, I'm not going to go, like, I feel like I've seen a lot of people like going on TikTok or whatever, cycling or running or these things, they're terrible for you. And that's not true, but it's all about where you're at. If you're in a state where your body is already spiked cortisol levels, then doing a workout like that is doing more harm than good. Yeah. But if you're in a state where, like you are, you've been able to regulate yourself, then putting yourself in that state is not
like you
doing a
can
disservice.
actually activate an autoimmune response and like a hypothyroidism issue by doing cold exposure if you don't know what your hormones are at.
Absolutely.
If you're out of whack, if you're PMSing. That's where it can get a bad rap. And that's, again, going back to being self-aware, knowing your cycles, knowing,
Absolutely.
We can't sit here and like put Band-Aids on a hemorrhaging wound here. Like, you're not going to hop in a cold plunge and instantly like be healed. But what I've found is, having a set schedule for your bedtime, the more boring my habits are, the hotter I am, the better I feel. And your nervous system is key. It is key in living a longevity best life ever. Yeah. I don't want to have an average health story. I want above average. I want optimal. And that's the problem with modern healthcare is if you even think about the line of the numbers, like if you're in this range, you're good. Well, what if I'm one away from like being diabetic?
They won't say anything because when I got my blood work done, it's actually cool that like I did it at like a normal doctor and you didn't, because when I got my blood work back, the levels and the ranges that they show is like when they're going to start being like, oh shit, like concern. You could literally be 1 or 2 numbers away from like out of range and you're still in the range, so they won't flag it. And I started seeing this because some of like the more holistic people I would follow would be talking about like what your normal thyroid levels, for example. And when you get tested for your thyroid levels, the range that they give is such a large range of like, okay, when in reality, the range is like 1 or 2 numbers.
You have to be your own advocate when it comes to this.
Absolutely.
And also through your nutrition. So that was another way that I healed my nervous system, besides these like, free ways of like breath work and meditation and cold plunging and walking and all that. Acupressure mats, acupuncture, cupping, like all these like obviously very like crunchy things, hippie things. I'm 100% a high maintenance hippie. Is like omega-3s, fatty acids, focusing on good fats.
Yeah.
Boo, you're going to heal that nervous system and you will never feel better. A lot of like, leafy greens. Also, this isn't the gut health issue of the podcast, but gut health is also a big one for your nervous system and your mental health as well. I couldn't move on to my hormones until I figured my nervous system out.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's also, don't be so like doom and gloom. Like, I want to just always leave you guys with hope. Our bodies are meant to heal. Mm-hmm. And a lot of, which I didn't touch on, of your nervous system shit and your triggering is also past trauma. And it can manifest in the physical.
Yeah.
And that's a woo-woo thing. But there's childhood trauma. If you don't deal with that ish, it will turn into a physical thing. 100%.
Yeah.
And so now work on your breath work. Now work on walking outside. Now know where you're at with your cycle syncing and your hormones. I know that we're trying to like figure out what our niche is, and we're always like joke about like we're too multifaceted to fit in any one. One day
I can't pick one.
One day we're going to be talking to you about like, Chelsea from Love is Blind, and the next day we're going to be curing cancer on this podcast.
Yeah.
But like, it's a huge deal and it's changed my life. And so I just felt like we need to talk about it. And there's really no reason for you to feel that you can't age backwards. Just like check in with yourself, live your best life. This is like for your future generational wealth starts with health.
Absolutely. That should be on a shirt.
Literally.
Let's make a shirt that says that.
Generational wealth starts with health. And that's the best legacy that you can lead. That is the best legacy you can leave your children and your family, is because they're always watching.
Yeah.
They are always watching. When my boys see me hop in that cold plunge, they're like, this bitch is crazy. But like, that's teaching them discipline. It's teaching them, these habits that mommy and daddy, like, let's go for a walk, kids, like get outside. When you have that teenager that's like super hormonal, I'm not like, I want them to feel empowered. I want them to take control of their health. And again, back to like the healthcare system, there's so much that's missing there. And I just hope and pray that there's some kind of, change.
Well, I think it's about, I don't even know if like there's necessarily going to be a change. I think it's about people not depending on that.
Being so dependent.
Don't even wait around for it to change, because I don't think it's
toxic.
going to.
It's a toxic situation.
Like
you need to get out of that narcissistic relationship with the doctor.
People like, and I say this, obviously there's a nuance to it, but yes, like people are in a toxic ex-boyfriend relationship with like their doctor. Like, and my doctor told me this. Like,
oh my gosh. And it's like, do you know that America is the only country in the world that has
the commercials,
pharmaceutical commercials? Yeah. If your butt is itchy and you laughed yesterday, you have cancer. Like, it's like, what?
I think there's so much power in being able to know where you're at and not have it be in someone else's hands.
No, yeah.
And I don't know, for me it's a very learning about my body and being aware and knowledgeable about everything that I'm doing, so that like I'm able to explain and know why I'm doing things the way I'm doing things is so powerful, and I love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
You feel in control.
Yeah.
And going back to us being control freaks.
Absolutely. Like I think it's so beneficial to your, not only your physical health, but your mental health and you growing as a person and getting older into knowing what things work for you. And I'm only 20, and like I care so much, because I want to be able to live a full, fruitful, long life and be able to enjoy. And obviously there's like the healthiest people ever that can get like cancer.
Of course. We're not saying that. We're not saying that.
But it's so powerful in knowing that I know what things work for me, what things don't work for me, and being so aware of those things. And I want to touch also on how important it was for me cutting out inflammatory foods, because when I look back, and this is how we started with our Puffy photos, like I see photos and I don't even know who that was, because the things that I was taking as the most important things were actually not the most important things, and were actually secondary to what was nutrition, the most important, which was exactly what I was putting in my body. And for me, everyone takes nutrition a different approach. You have, the calorie counters, then you have the people that are like, you can eat everything in moderation, which I also don't accept that for myself. But everyone has different things that, then you have the people that like literally won't go out to eat and touch one thing with like canola oil in it. So it's like you have such a wide spectrum.
You have to have balance.
And everyone's balance looks different too. Yeah. For me, when I started, it was very like all in. I'm cutting out this, but I was particular with what I wanted to cut out. Like for me, cutting out inflammatory oils was like a top thing. Cutting out like refined sugars was a top thing. Cutting out like super like processed foods was a top thing. And those things were easy for me to cut out. Other things I didn't cut out. I didn't cut out dairy. I didn't cut out gluten. I'm very picky with the quality of dairy and gluten, but I didn't feel the need to cut it out yet. Will I come to a point where I'm like, wait, let me try? Maybe. Yeah. But I'm not at that point yet. Alcohol too, like it wasn't something I felt drawn to necessarily like cold turkey cut out, but it was something that I'm aware of. But for me, those things were things that I felt had a larger effect on me. As soon as I cut those things out, I instantly noticed a difference in the mirror. I felt a difference in not only my body, but my energy levels. It is not normal to be having crashes at 1 p.m. This is a thing I see. It's not normal to not be hungry when you wake up. These are not normal things. And of course, everything is so related. But these are not normal things, and I think people take them as normal. Like
so many people take it as normal.
I'm gonna have my iced coffee for breakfast. Like no, like that's not. Your body is literally screaming to you for help. And
having coffee on an empty stomach literally raises your cortisol levels for the entire day.
Absolutely.
And cortisol
will affect your sleep for that night.
And cortisol is the death hormone, guys.
Yeah.
So that's like a big no-no.
Another thing, like I was talking about that book that I read that was super powerful to me when I read it, was the book goes over like the 4 horsemen. It talks about like the 4 most common causes of like sickness and death in the world, which is, I don't know the exact order of them. It's like diabetes and like cardiac conditions, bone conditions, and neurological disorders. And these things are all webbed back to inflammation in your body. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I was like, okay, if I want to live a non-inflamed, not puffy life where I feel my best, I need to get rid of the things that are causing that inflammation in my body. And as soon as I did, and this is why like I don't want to sit and argue with people. I feel like people get very defensive about what they eat. It's like, oh, well, my McDonald's isn't killing me. I'm not saying it's killing you. Yeah. But I know how I felt when I was eating a certain way and then changed it. So I'm telling you, and I'm telling whoever wants to hear, that you need to just try and see how you feel, because you don't know how it feels until you try. So
that's the thing that we need to end with, is you don't know how shitty you feel until you feel good. Yeah. Because looking back 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, you don't really know what optimal is until you're functioning at that optimal level.
Yeah.
And it's so sad because Athena and I have talked about this. There's so many people in our family, not in our family, on the streets in Miami, in the Keys, that are living these subpar health lives. And it makes me feel so sad for them. And I mean that from the genuineness of my heart, because they don't even know what it is or means to feel good and be functioning at an optimal level in your hormones, in your workouts, in your nutrition. It's so important.
Learning about what things, not only foods, but also however you feel. Like for me, it was cutting things out and then adding things in that I knew were anti-inflammatory, like fruits and vegetables, leafy greens,
turmeric.
Even, yes. And also like supplements, like you can also be doing like supplementation. My thing with supplements is, in my opinion, I think people get super, like, it's a crutch. It's like, oh, I'm going to wake up and like take my L-glutamine or take my like morning probiotic and then go eat like garbage all day. And it's like, you're wasting your $70. Like,
yeah, you're wasting your money.
Spend it on a Zara shirt. Like it's honestly a waste of your money. Getting what you're taking in first down and then add in supplementation. I think for me, that's what's worked. And what I've noticed actually makes a difference, because there's no point in supplement. Like, it's literally,
no, you're 100%
you
wasting your money.
A placebo supplement, because it's really not going to do much.
But that's what it is, I think, for some people, is it makes them feel better about their shitty health decisions.
When I stopped eating out for like 3 weeks, it was like literally, I think I lost, I don't really weigh myself like that, but I think I must have lost like 10 pounds just from not eating out every day.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Because you don't know what they're cooking with, and then they don't change the oil. It's like, honestly, if you think about it, it's really disgusting.
I don't want to think about it, because I think
you might never eat out again.
I'm like, yeah, like
we're gonna turn Amish on everyone.
Like, have you seen the ice machine thing?
Oh,
the mold in the ice machines.
Oh yeah, don't get us wait.
Because I've like seen that, and I couldn't like get a drink in public for like a long time after that. Because
and don't get me started on the water. It has fluoride in there.
No, have you seen the inside of the pipes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course. I'm your sister.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know if you did, but I saw that photo and I literally wanted to like pass away.
Yeah.
Take me away from this earth. Like this photo, you guys, it's like, it was like orange, black, like webs of just grime inside of like the pipes. And then like the water comes out clear or whatever. But I just like couldn't.
I'm getting ick. I'm getting ick.
Never again. I'm good with my Stanley that I get made fun of for, but that broke.
Yeah.
I think this was a really great conversation.
Yeah, I'm so glad we had it, and we're so passionate about health, and we feel amazing, and we want y'all to feel amazing. And so if there's anything that you've taken from this, I hope it leaves you feeling inspired, empowered to make decisions. We are meant to live optimally, and health is just the best thing that you can do.
I take so much pride in
people
my
all
health.
the time are investing in Bitcoin and their future and their 401k, and I'm like, bro, are you even going to be able to enjoy it?
Yeah.
And so everything I do, no matter whether it's for your goals, for your family, like I do that for the 46-year-old version of me. I do it for the 56-year-old version of me, you know? So I want to be running wild and rampant with my grandkids. I want,
absolutely,
you know, so the fact that you're 20, like I always say, you're 20 years ahead of me. Like this bee over here is going to be like, forget about it when she's my age, you know?
Oh, I can't wait.
So anyway.
I want to be like that like 75-year-old grandma that's like doing like gymnastics.
Wait, can you guys just picture me right now with the sleeve when I'm like 75 and I'm like, hey, I got like great grandkids and I'm like dancing.
You're going to be the coolest ever.
Duh.
Like genuinely, it's gonna be so good. Like I actually can't wait, because I think what's gonna happen is like your grandkids, if you ever like take them out and stuff, people are gonna think it's like your kid.
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, I do.
I'll take it.
Because think about it, like Yanni's 13, so let's say 10 years from now he has a kid, whatever, or even 12 years from now.
Yeah.
You'll be what, 50?
Right.
50-year-olds can have kids.
That's true. Kourtney Kardashian.
But I don't think when you're 50, you'll look 50. So I think when you're 50, you'll look like 40. And people will be like, oh, she's just like an older mom.
I'll take it, baby. Yes.
Oh, I can't wait. When that happens, we'll update you guys in like 15 years. When
Obviously.
our podcast is on episode like 3001.
100%.
It's going to be so good.
On the pink jet.
All right.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, obviously we always say leave a review. It helps our podcast be seen.
Absolutely.
We love you guys. If you ever have a question or a topic you want us to cover, please DM us, The Sisters Show, on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We're all over the place. We love you guys. And
we love you so much.
We're back.
Thanks for watching.
Season 2.